Hey YouTube, my name is JP Graves. Last week I posted me just kind of ranting into a microphone for about 20 minutes. I wanted to kind of do that again to discuss my experiences with different avenues of self-publishing. So, a little bit of backstory. I wrote my first book, Crimes of an Empire. I had no idea what I was doing. Absolutely none whatsoever. The actual reason I decided to move forward with the publishing is because I was told by multiple people that you can't just publish a book. And as I said in a previous video, the ADHD kicked in. I was like, oh, bet I can't just publish a book. So I kind of set my sights and goals on that. So a few things. First off, publishing nowadays really isn't all that difficult. What makes it difficult is making sure that you're producing a quality product. So you can go into YouTube, you can go into Facebook, you can go into TikTok, Instagram, whatever, and search Kindle Direct Publishing and Ingram Spark and Google Books and find tons of videos, how to put your book up on there. That's fine. But what nobody's really going to tell you is, you're going to put your book up there, and then if it's not quality and it doesn't look like quality, you're not going to get any sales. All right. You can run all the Amazon ads you want and dump money into them, and you're not going to get sales if it doesn't look like quality. So make sure you look into formatting heavily. I had a discussion with somebody about a year ago about that. They sent out a book for pre-reading, and that was one of the first things I picked up on. Hey, make sure you have your paragraph spacing set to 0.3, because they had it set to 0.6, I think, and it was just indented too far and it didn't look good. Make sure your work is all justified. That way it's all lined up nice and neat. Make sure that because it's justified, you don't have one sentence in there where between the words there's a bunch of big spaces, because at the end of the sentence you had a big word, and it just doesn't look good. Chapter headings, make sure all your chapter headings are consistent with the spacing. You want the chapter heading, halfway to 3/4 of the way down, depending on if you have artwork, stuff like that. Please make sure you research that, because that's really what's going to make or break you. I've experimented now twice with putting a content page in there, like a chapters listing. Then in my second book I didn't do it. I don't really think that matters. I just wouldn't do it like I did in my first book. I don't like the way it looks at all. That's actually one thing I'm kind of working on. It's going back through Crimes and doing a re-release of it. It's just better formatted, or with better formatting, I should say. So that's one of the things, and just really be aware. Self-publishing is not going to be easy, and it's not going to be a rewarding process. If you need a reward loopback system, this isn't going to be for you. You will go months without sales. You will go months without new ratings and reviews. And that will definitely take a mental toll on you, especially if you're like me, and all my books are just kind of passion projects. They're just stories that I really wanted to tell. And as I say on the end of a lot of my other videos, we write to tell the stories that no one else can, because they're from our minds. And I also wanted to say, I got that quote from someone. There's a book that I got called On Writing Horror, Revised Edition. I got it when I was writing in Darkest Dreams, just to kind of give me some guidance. It's a collection of advice, you could say, or testimonials, or, just different things like that from various horror authors. And one of them had that quote, and it really, really stuck with me. And I just really, really liked it, because it's true. You can only tell a story your way. You can only write a story your way, and if you don't write it, nobody else is going to, because it's your idea. They might write something similar, but, you know, it's not going to be your story. Another thing with, you know, all these self-publishing platforms to really kind of be aware of, they're not necessarily intuitive to use. I think, honestly, the best one, my favorite one, as far as, you know, getting a book out there and formatted correctly, is probably going to be KDP Create. I really like what they have as far as a product, because it makes formatting ebooks really, really easy, and getting your book from that more of a draft to something finalized, that's going to just kind of look nice. There are other ones out there. That's just my favorite. If you Google book formatting software, you're going to get 100 results. Just kind of play around with them. I'm all about simplicity. If something is simple and it works, then we're good to go. Although, be aware, I'm pretty sure for Kindle you need to use KDP because they have a special file extension that I can't remember the name of right now for their books. Just that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with that. Just be aware, it's, you know, you can throw anything up on these platforms that you want to. If you're looking for sales, though, you really got to have your brand down pat. I'm part of a bunch of different Facebook groups for writers, KDP support group, and a whole bunch of other ones. And I see on there quite frequently people posting, you know, oh, this is the first chapter of my book, so just did a release, and then I look at it, I'm like, you should have spent more time on that. Definitely should have spent more time on that. And once again, I don't think that I have all the answers. I don't think I have it all figured out, but I know what I know, and I know what I don't know, and I don't know what I don't know. So if you really want my advice, I would go onto Udemy. There are a bunch of courses on there about formatting, editing, and different things like that. I would highly suggest, you know, finding one that you think will work for you and just, you know, buying and taking it. That's one of the avenues that I took. Beware of scams. Oh, beware of scams. I hear about that all the time. People getting scammed out of $500-ish. And it's not just the small companies either. My sister published a kid's book through Penguin, and I ordered a copy. She did all the artwork for it because she's a fine artist, and she does amazing, amazing work. And I called her after I got it, and my wife and I were looking through, and we were like, hey, so on this page, there's 3 dots and a comma that kind of come out of nowhere. It's not on any of the other pages, and all the pages are supposed to be formatted. They're roughly the same because it's a kid's book. What's going on with that? I just wanted to let you know. And then the editor from Penguin also spelled mischievous wrong towards the end of the book. So she paid $600 for their services. And yeah, I don't think that quality is really worth $600. The company I use is Twisted Tree Publishing. And I told her, I was like, hey, that's kind of a lot of money for what they're offering. You know, with Twisted Tree, that is under it's under 100 pages. So with them, it would have been like $200, $300. Although they're hybrid publishing, so they're not going to put you in bookstores. They're just going to do the edits and then, you know, promote you on social media and kind of push your book that way. As far as getting into stores and getting it up on KDP and everything, that's on you. They'll format it for you, but that's going to be on you as far as actually uploading it and managing it. So just be aware of the grifters out there. There are a lot. I just saw a post today, which is really why I wanted to do this video today, of somebody talking about a publishing company that was offering them the world and the moon for, you know, $349. And that's like, I can tell you right now, if they're doing that, they're a grifter, because they're not going to make any money off of that, unless they're grifting you. Another thing really to consider when you're talking about publishing too is something I recently found out. So there's a company called Ingram Spark. You need to make sure that you're part of Ingram Spark and that your book's up there. Mostly because almost every single bookstore I've talked to uses Ingram Spark for distribution, meaning that they order directly from Ingram Spark for their books. I was talking to one bookstore owner, and I can't speak to the validity of this statement, but he said it's really nice because whenever they sell a book, that book automatically gets ordered from Ingram Spark for their inventory. So it really helps bookstores keep track of that inventory. Just know that you're going to need to learn that platform. I still haven't learned that platform, but according to one of my buddies, it's not the easiest thing in the world to navigate. And you're probably going to need something like Adobe Pro or something along those lines. Another thing with the major publishers, and once again, I'm not with a major publisher, so I can't speak to the validity of the statement, but it's been relayed to me that they're going to promise you like, oh, you're going to get in Barnes & Noble, and you're going to be here, and you're going to be here, and blah, 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 blah. Yes and no. You're going to be part of that publishing company's catalog. If those bookstores, those major bookstores, want to order your book, if they want to order your book, they can through that catalog. That does not guarantee that they're going to. If you don't have a social media following, if you don't have a platform, they're not going to know about you, and they're just going to, pass over your book for somebody that they know is going to sell. A big name. That's one of the reasons, like, I'm a horror writer. Whenever I go into bookstores, you're mainly going to see, like, Stephen King as the main horror section because they know he's going to sell. Alright, Stephen King is one of the most prolific authors of all time. If you stock Stephen King, people are going to buy Stephen King. Or there's another guy, A.M. Shine, writes, pretty decent books, but he got a Netflix deal. So naturally, they're going to put him on the shelves. He has a Netflix deal. And that really bumped his reputation. That's actually how I found out about him, is I went to Barnes & Noble and I saw A.M. China. I was like, oh, who's this? Did a little bit of research. I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to buy his book. He also has a newer book out called The Creeper. I would recommend it. It was pretty solid all the way through, even that's coming from somebody who writes in the same genre. Definitely give that like 7.58 out of 10. Just for the atmosphere. But so know that about the major publishing companies. Just because they're going to promise you like, oh, you're going to get into the bookstores and all that, it's not wrong. They're not necessarily lying to you, but it's not at the same time, it's not necessarily true. So if you're a new author, you're really in a tight spot. Just know that most people are going the self-publishing route, mainly because if you can get your name out there, you do see better returns on your investments, and that's a pretty big thing with it. We all that, like I said multiple times to people, I sell my books for as cheap as I do with as little returns as I do, is because I really don't care about money. I said in my last video, I work 50-60 hours a week. I have all my bills paid. I have my mortgage paid. I have all my insurances and car payments paid. This isn't something where it's like, oh, I'm going to write a book and sell 1 million copies and I'm going to be a millionaire and get to, and then no. I write books because I enjoy writing books and I enjoy telling the stories that I tell, and it's a really good creative outlet for me. So that's why I write, but I know there are people out there that, they want to make this their complete career and fully engross themselves in it, and they want those deals. So if you're one of those people, you really gotta kind of make sure your brand is set. There are a lot of avenues to being successful in this sphere. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself successful, even though by metrics I kind of am. I've sold more books than your average self-published author. I think the first year I published Crimes of an Empire, I sold, 40-ish copies. The average is like 15. In bookstores, even if you're not a well-known name, I've talked to a few bookstores that are like, yeah, if you're a self-published author and, you don't have that good solid platform, you're going to sell maybe 5 copies a year. out of those bookstores. So be aware of that statistic as well. Just something to keep in mind. But publishing is like I said, it's not hard, but it is. Getting your book up onto a site, not necessarily difficult. Getting it to be recognized on a site and getting into bookstores and getting, possible deals with publishers that are actually going to support you, rather hard if you're not doing your research. Also advertisers, social media influencers. Oh man, are you going to get spammed with these people if you actually start building out a platform. Most of them are grifters. Had a conversation with somebody 5 months ago that they published their first book, and then they got an email for this social media person, for $500 we'll make you a bunch of big videos and do all this wonderful stuff, once again promising them the Earth and the moon for $500, and that they were going to be a one in a million success because they went with this company. So they paid them $500, and they said they got 3 sales off the package that they bought, right? So they paid $500, they got a few sales out of it, and were at like a 90% net return loss. That's, most of the stuff you can do by yourself. All right, let's just be honest. Most of the social media you can do by yourself. If you're like me, it's extremely difficult because, once again, I don't like being the center of attention. I'm not somebody that was posting on Facebook in high school about every little thing I did, because that's my business, not anybody else's. If it wasn't for my wife, I don't think I posted a picture of myself on social media that my wife did not take in 10 or 11 years, something like that. I'm not that person. So if you're like me, it is a little bit more difficult, and you need to just kind of be brave, put your name out there, your face out there, and not be afraid of, people's criticisms. But as far as there are good companies out there for the marketing and whatnot, just be aware of the grifters. If a deal sounds too good to be true and they're promising you everything under the sun, then it's probably too good to be true. If you write smut, congratulations to you. You probably have one of the easiest and hardest times, because TikTok is filled with nothing but, smut writers and whatnot. Book talk, I was using that hashtag for a while until I actually started researching that hashtag and what was on the book talk hashtag. I kind of understand why that campaign was unsuccessful, because it's a lot of smut. And different things like that. So if you're writing smut, congratulations, you are in a very successful market that has a low entry point, but you are also in a very oversaturated market, which is going to be really hard to get your name out there. But fortunately, if people read that, they are ferocious about it, and they go through multiple books a month, so there's a high turnover rate as far as readers go. And if you can, once again, produce a quality product, then you're probably going to get significant sales. But just, kind of keep all these things in the back of your mind. These are things that I wish I would have thought about researching and looking into. And most of them I did. But there's so much information out there. If you do a Google search, there's so much information out there that, nobody's going to really tell you what's true and what's false. Like I said, there's also just tons of grifters out there trying to get your money for a product that either you can do yourself, or that is it's already heavily reliant on you to do most of the legwork. Such as, like I said, with the major publishers, you need to have good branding and the solid platform, and then you'll start reaping the benefits of working with them. But that's pretty much all I had for today. Once again, I've been ranting on for about 20 minutes. So, as I said last time, if you made it this far, congratulations. You just listened to me talk for about 20 minutes. Appreciate you watching the entirety of the video. I hope my ramblings weren't too incoherent for you. Thank you again for, listening in and hearing what I have to say. Greatly appreciated. If you'd hit the like and subscribe button, I'd appreciate it a lot. I'm not really trying to make money off YouTube, but it goes back to that, like I said, being in this sphere, not a lot of positive feedback loops. A lot of oh, I got a sale, I wonder if I get a review, and then you get nothing. A lot of making videos and just not a lot of feedback from anybody. So if you did make it, like I said, like and subscribe would be appreciated. If you have any questions for me on something you'd like me to rant about, please leave it down in the comments. Yeah, so hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll talk to you guys next week, maybe with a more formal video like I've done in the past, or maybe another random ranting rambling. So, we'll talk to you guys later.